So in one of my most recent videos, I went over the very real possibility that we would be getting a Legion remix in the War Within, because we got a handful of teases from the Warcraft Direct pointing to this being the case, and we just recently got another tease from Ion Hazzikostas that seems to be close to confirming this. Now this comment by Ion pertains to WoW's 2025 roadmap, where there is a strip on it that says at what time of the year we will be getting certain updates, and at the end of that strip it starts to turn green. So the roadmap starts in winter and ends in winter, but at the end, once you get into autumn and then into winter, it starts to fade into green, which looks kind of like a fell green. So right when this was released, a lot of people started to theorize that why would this be turning green? It would make sense that the green is indicating a Legion remix, because Legion would be another very good expansion to host a remix in, and you would presume that new remixes would be at the end of an expansion, and this would give the developers enough time to actually make that new remix. And Ion's comment kind of confirms this. He was asked specifically in one of his interviews if this was pointing to Legion remix, and he said anything's possible. There's some fell green tinge at the right of the roadmap. Who knows what that could be? And the reason I think this almost confirms it is because he specifically calls it a fell green tinge. He probably wouldn't describe it as that if there was nothing to that, and specifically calling it fell green does point to it being something focused around the Legion, and obviously the Legion expansion is fully focused around that for the entirety of the expansion. And there are some additional teases past that, but the first thing I want to go over is the symbol at the end of the roadmap, which during the Warcraft Direct, this symbol looked like a little Hearthstone. Some people thought it was supposed to be a house, and then some people thought it was this symbol that was also used in Warlords of Draenor. So people started to think that this symbol was showing it was going to be a WoD remix event, but they did end up changing that symbol on the roadmap to just show that it was a little house, showing it's going to be player housing at that point on the roadmap. So that has nothing to do with the green tinge at the end. And another reason why people were thinking that was pointing to WoD remix, because we had missed remix, so a lot of people thought that they would just go into WoD remix for the next one. But I actually think there's a very good reason why they wouldn't want to go into WoD remix, especially at the point that we would be getting the next remix event, because we're also getting the new player housing system around a similar time. Shown on the roadmap itself, it's shown to be around a similar time as we would be getting a remix event. And the biggest thing in WoD, the biggest new system, was garrisons, which even though the garrisons obviously weren't player housing, they have not been described as player housing. Even Ion in one of his recent interviews said that it was never meant to be player housing. That was the main system for the expansion, had a lot of player power in it, and that's not what they're doing with the new player housing system. It is kind of similar enough to where they probably wouldn't want to do a remix going back into the only expansion that had something kind of close to player housing, because they wouldn't want you going back to that, seeing all the issues with garrisons, probably one of the biggest fails of Warlords of Draenor as an expansion, and have people getting psyched out or scared that that's what the new player housing system is going to be in a remix event right before we get player housing. So I think there's actually a pretty good reason to fully skip Warlords of Draenor, at least at this point, and just go into Legion remix. But the final tease is something I still haven't seen many other people talk about that I think is very much pointing towards a Legion remix. And this actually comes from the teaser trailer for player housing that we got at the end of the Warcraft Direct. Because once you go back to that trailer, once the character walks in and goes up to his chair, he places down his weapon. But what's very interesting is the weapon he places down is the rogue artifact appearance of Thunder Fury. If you don't know, we have the original Thunder Fury from vanilla. Then there is a rogue version of Thunder Fury that the outlaw rogues could get as one of their artifact appearances. In fact, it's called a Thunder Fury Hallowed Blade of the Wind Lord, and that is specifically for outlaw rogues. But the character in the teaser trailer is a warrior wearing a warrior tier set. In fact, it's wearing the new remade tier 2 warrior set. So it seems that that character is supposed to be a warrior in that trailer, but he was using and carrying a rogue artifact weapon appearance. And I have seen a few people say that this is just normal Thunder Fury. This isn't. The blades look completely different. The rogue version of Thunder Fury looks kind of like it was a bunch of pieces of blades put together and kind of held together by its power. It doesn't have two flat blades on the side, but if you go back to the original Thunder Thunder Fury. Both its blades are completely flat on the side and the design is different. So this is the rogue artifact appearance seeming to be wielded by a warrior. Now, how I think that ties into Legion Remix is what would be a better time to unlock the appearances of artifact weapons to be used by any class that could transmog as a weapon than in a Legion Remix. They release Legion Remix, they unlock all of the artifact appearances so everybody can use them, and then you're now in Legion Remix where you can go back and earn a lot of those appearances. And while a lot of the artifact appearances are still earnable, there are some that aren't earnable past Legion, so they could allow you to re-earn those, or they could even add recolors or different artifact appearances that maybe weren't used but are in the files with Legion Remix. They did the exact same thing with Mists of Pandaria. They added some stuff that everybody thought they would be able to get in Mists of Pandaria, like the Shadowpan armor sets. So they could do something like that. They fully unlock the appearances, they allow you to go earn new ones, you're back in Legion so you can go more easily earn all of the old ones, and that would make for a very good remix event. So putting all of this information and teasers together, I think it's a very good chance that towards the end of the War Within, we will be getting a Legion Remix event. I just have no idea how they're going to change it up from Mists of Pandaria. Presumably, it's going to be completely new powers. They will probably have two currencies this time, one for power increases, one as a cosmetic currency, so you don't have to choose between getting cosmetics or upgrading your character. And I also think it'd probably be a good idea for the Legion artifacts to play a part in Remix. Maybe they could tie a lot of the infinite power gains into your artifact weapon. They could potentially just completely not have the cloak as they did in Mists of Pandaria. Instead, all of that power gains you continuously get in Remix would just be applied to your weapon. Maybe they could even have the skill trees from the artifact weapons re-enabled for this event so you could go back and use all of those old abilities and all of the old power-ups. That could be a really cool event to just allow us to get absurdly powerful in one of the best expansions in the game's history. But that's all I want to go over, so thanks for watching.